Hello there and good day. So we have another new dragon to get unlocking, and we also have a legendary to get hatching today, because of course we did breed the legendary dragon of the month, Gunhilda. And Gunhilda is of course the, I guess, dragon form of that old lady NPC character. And Gunhilda is a legendary void and fire dragon. However, Gunhilda isn't the one that interests me here, because if we place Gunhilda here, then the actual cool dragon that we'll be unlocking today is going to be the quarterly collection reward in the form of the beautiful market dragon. There he is, in all of his fandangled glory. He actually has a blowhole, and it actually is animated. I am so pleased with this dragon. So you've collected all the dragons required. Congratulations. So this is the Outsiders collection with the market dragon, which is of course the dragon form of your boy Whalemart. I don't know, this dragon is fantastic. I can't believe they actually put the effort into animating his blowhole. It's very unexpected for this game, but he is wonderful. I absolutely love him. But this does mean that when we hatch the market dragon, we are only going to have one collection left, and then we will be able to unlock the yearly collection reward. And so then the question is, what is the yearly collection reward actually going to be? Is it going to be a divine, like what we've had before? Like last time it was a trampler dragon in the form of Star Reader. Will it be a primal? I'm just saying it's possible. Very unlikely, but it's possible, right? So I kind of want to know what this main reward dragon is going to be. But of course we still need to breed 3 more dragons of the month in order to get that done. So we will be working on that for the next 3 months, and then that should be this collection done. Of course, the only problem with these for, you know, regular players is if you miss 1 month's Dragon of the Month or anything, then this yearly collection is pretty much dead for you, because you won't be able to get the main reward dragon, unless they re-release them in some sort of special bundles or whatever. But anyway, what a fearsome dragon. Haughty and warlike, it immediately assumes authority and bosses other dragons around. You almost have to admire it. Surely this trainer can only call it the Gunhilda dragon. Of course, Siva the Gunhilda. I have to say, out of all of the recent dragons of the month, this is probably the most grotesque one. I don't know what it is. I think it's the jaw and everything about it. It's just, obviously I see the Gunhilda in it, right? It's just, bleh. And the problem with Gunhilda on top of that, for Gunhilda's release, is the fact that Gunhilda, outside of the legendary element, is essentially a legendary Emon, and obviously most of us that are going for any substantial rewards from this event, like Neil, we're gonna have Emon anyway, so there is like literally no reason whatsoever to use this dragon, because if you were gonna use it as like an early dungeon task user, you would just use a different fire dragon, for example, rather than duplicating void and fire. So it just kind of sucks for Gunhilda. I think they timed it really badly, because, I mean, her elements just aren't fantastic considering the time frame. I don't know, I feel kind of bad for her in her dragon form, but hey, it is what it is. I also don't know why she has mist coming out of her wings, but it's kind of creeping me out. But either way, that is the current dragon of the month. It took less than 10 attempts, as they usually do for the dragons of the month. Super easy to breed by the end of day 1, easily. But, you know, it does depend. If you just get super unlucky, you can be breeding dragons of the month for, like, weeks into the year. But either way, Gunhilda is done. We can ignore the dragon of the month stuff for the next, well, 3 weeks, nearly 4 weeks. So that is fantastic, because I don't care to be breeding that anymore. But we did unlock that beautiful, beautiful whale, so we will be popping him in. Just look how beautiful he is. He's absolutely fabtastic. He is another void dragon though, which, I don't know, it seems like they're throwing all the void. We've got the void ancient event, we've got these 2 void dragons coming out at the same time. Like, I'm kind of sick of void at this point, like, give me something else. But either way, there he is, and in 2 days' time, just under, we will have our hands on this beautiful whale. Kind of a very plain egg. Kind of like it in a way. But we will get there when we get there. But, you know, I think your boy Whalemart is probably my favourite NPC in general, if you can count him as one. I guess we can. Especially now that he's been dragonified. It's just like, out of all the lore in DML, I don't care about anything except for Arya Exeliza and anything regarding Mr. Whaleypoo. Everything else I am uninterested. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's just DML lore and me do not mix, okay? That's all I can really say. We just don't mix. It's something I don't care about. I know some of us do, it's just in general, it's a very, I guess it's just a very whatever story to me. Because, you know, it's not like we're going through a single player story in the sense of a regular game or anything. It just like we're doing map battles. It's not substantial, I guess. But, you know, if we were playing DML for the story, we'd probably be in the wrong place anyway. So it's not like I expected it to be Game of the Year for story. Maybe God of War might be, but, you know, that is next week, not this week. So we will wait. But in terms of DML in general, I will say that, you know, if you do have any leftover currency in this last day, you should just use it, because on top of, you know, randomly getting horns or anything, you can also reach new milestones, which I don't think I'm going to reach any further milestones personally, but make sure that you do spend your currency if you just have it, even if you haven't really been playing the event very much. You might as well get some bonus stuff, get some mats out of it potentially, and maybe even get your hands on Pume if you're still going for Pume. We're not going to be getting Pume because that is pretty much impossible at this point. Not that I cared anyway. But, you know, I'm happy to see the back of this event, to be completely honest with you. And at the same time, I'm just hoping for a couple of Divine and Ancient mats. If you want to give me those, game, I would be more than pleased at this point. But in terms of upcoming stuff, we don't really have too much else coming to DML, except we do have Catch-Up Dungeon coming next week, because, you know, they've said that in the Catch-Up Dungeon you can get dragons such as Ikez, and I've had a few people asking me, like, oh, should I go for Ikez? Because Ikez I could use as like an attacker, blah blah blah. Problem is that if you didn't pick up Ikez in the altar to begin with, because, like, it was the only one you were going to get anyway and you wanted to use it, I don't see many uses out of you going for Ikez in a catch-up dungeon of all things. Because I keep saying this and people just seem to ignore me when I say it, but catch-up dungeon is generally, maybe it'll be slightly different this time, but it's generally a terrible, terrible way of trying to get, you know, new dragons, because it's just so unreliable. I don't know, it's, if you are looking to get, say, Ikez or any of the other dragons through Catch-Up Dungeon, I highly doubt it's going to happen. Because you should expect to have to open many, many, many chests, if that's what you're going for. Purple chests at that. So, unless you have a really good dungeon team and tons of gems to waste, I find it very unlikely that you're going to be getting anything of value out of Catch-Up Dungeon, unless you're insanely lucky. And that is the thing, it is very, very RNG, it's very, very random. If you have, like, 50 pieces away from a dragon and you're relying on Catch-Up Dungeon being the thing to give those to you, you have made a mistake. It's probably not going to happen. I mean, we've had Catch-Up Dungeons a few times now, so we can always go back and look at the old Catch-Up Dungeon and everything like that, but just in general, I would consider this the final week of the Ancient event. Like, obviously we've got Neil Rising, where we've got another week to hatch the dragons, but in terms of actually doing Ancient things, this is the last Ancient dungeon in that sense of, like, the ticket dungeon. Catch-Up Dungeon is not the same thing, and if you're relying on being able to get more tickets and stuff out of it to get dragons, yeah, that's not smart. That's not gonna work. So, I don't know. In terms of the collection as well, you know, you should realistically be very close to getting the Ancients that you need by now. For instance, I'm like 240 away, just under, which should be very easily doable. I just need to find the time to do it today. But, you know, it's just going to be dungeon grinding, dungeon grinding, dungeon grinding, and then spending our horns on whatever we want towards the end, which, I don't know, I could take another extra Dem Relic, potentially, and another 9 horns, which I think is probably the best thing to pick up. Although at the same time, we do get 2 times relics, which would be very tempting. But that's why I'm going to spend the rest of my yellow stuff, as well. I'm going to step on the yellow tiles, get some horns if I can, and then, you know, we will see what we get out of this shop, because it is finishing on Monday, which means that you need to be basically getting everything done today. Because what if there's server issues, what if anything else goes wrong? I would say do it now rather than later. But anyway, that is what I wanted to get through today. We are also going to have our ancient hatching in just under 3 days as well. So we've got lots of new dragons coming, and we should have Neil coming. I will update you. It'd be funny if I don't, wouldn't it, after wasting all these gems. That would be hilarious, actually. We'll see. But anyway, thank you, and good day to you.